Hey guys, welcome to Sente, the YouTube channel dedicated specifically to beginner and intermediate Go players to help them get better at the game. Alright, so because I really love the first video I made on Tesuji, Tesuji is basically the fighting moves in Go, and all the different tactics you can use to capture stones, decided to make another one. This is from the same book that I got my first video from, and you should definitely check out that book if you really like what you see. That book has more examples, more explanation. It's a great thing to have. I put the link to both the book and my last video in the description below, so be sure to check those out if you haven't already. Today I'm going to show you 3 new tesuji, and these are pretty awesome. Definitely some really cool sequences we can get into. And you will definitely like what you see, guarantee it. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the first tesuji we're going to learn is called the clamp tesuji. And this one starts in a situation like this. So white has some cutting stones here, but they kind of seem to be in trouble. They're disconnected from this group, and black seems like he's pretty strong, right? It doesn't seem to be any way that white can really break out of here. Right? So, you know, white tries this, black can just Atari, and even if white can go here, you know, black can still do that. And this Atari doesn't work. And so now white has got this stupid weak group around. Likewise, you know, can threaten to cut it off, but black can just simply do this and get out scot-free and now start attacking this group. So the question is there an unconditional way to capture this group? Before I show you the clamp tesuji, just pause the video and just take a look, see what you can come up with. Alright, so here is the clamp tesuji, and this will unconditionally capture these stones. And right here. So we're sandwiching the black stone in the middle of these 2 white ones and creating what's called miai. A miai in Japanese really means sort of like an ultimatum, like a 2-choice thing. So it creates a miai between these 2 points, because if black plays at one point, white will play at the other point. And no matter which one black chooses, these target stones inside here will die. So just to show you what happens if black tries to extend and play here, it might seem like black could get out with this Atari, but white can just calmly block, and when black takes, white has a snapback capture, which is brutal. Completely brutal. So we see that that can't work. And, you know, clearly black can't do anything else. So what happens if black plays inside? White will just be like, alright, you don't want any of your stones, it seems, and simply connect on the outside. And because black only has 2 liberties left, there's really no way to keep those from being captured. And this is the move that would unconditionally kill this whole thing, called the clamp tesuji. Really, really cool stuff. So, as always, with these sorts of tesuji videos, I will give you some examples, and you can look at them, pause the video, try to read out the sequence, and figure out what's best. So let's start with this one. Alright, so we see white's in a really tough spot. These stones are unbelievably weak, and black seems to have strength all over the freaking place. And, you know, without this clamp tesuji, there's no way white could really get through to these stones or capture anything. So, use your new skills, pause the video, see if you can do the clamp tesuji. Now, the clamp tesuji is pretty black and white, no pun intended, because, you know, that shape is sort of a unique shape to make. I'm sure you guys will all spot the first move to make the clamp tesuji, but the trick isn't really in the first move for this, it's in the following ones. So when I pause the video, not only envision the first move, but try to read out all of the different variations that black can try to do to escape, and make sure that they all fail. Reading is very key in Go, so make sure you work on that. So pause the video and take a look. Alright, so, white to move. Now, we know that he can't do this, right? Because here, even though this Atari looks pretty nice, black can go under, right? Connect and fill in, and now he's all nice and connected again, and now is the dumpling shape. So the normal way is kind of out of the question. However, let's play the clamp and see what happens. So this is the move. This is the clamp Tesuji. Notice this is the Mii. These are the two choices, where if black plays in one, we have to play in the other. So let's take the easiest choice. Let's say black connects on the outside. White's like, fine by me, dude. And now that's Atari. And there's nothing black can do, because now that's still Atari. And so those stones will be captured, and white gets to link up all of his forces. Now let's see if black connects on the outside. Well, we see that's still Atari. And that's still Atari. So this is a very straightforward Tesuji, but really, really powerful. It doesn't even require that much reading to really go into. Let's say black tries to be sneaky and plays here, right? So what we would want to do is, remember, this Mii is still in effect. So we don't want to rush in and play the Mii right away. Because if we do, then black can escape like that, because that's an Atari. That's an Atari. And white may be able to capture, but unfortunate, right? So we don't want to rush into things once we've played this move. So if black plays here, what we want to do is keep the pressure on, because remember, we can cut at either of these places still, because he hasn't made a move there yet. And so now we just simply descend and make sure that he can't get out. And now black is forced to make the choice, and whatever choice he makes fails, because now this is Atari. This doesn't work. See? And let's say, oops, what am I doing? Yep. Say black chooses that one. Once again, still Atari. Doesn't work. So that's sort of the first application. This Tesuji can really get your stones out of a tight spot if your opponent leaves the door open. Alright, on to the next problem. Problem number 2. That's the same problem. Give me a second. Problem 2. Here we go. Okay, this time it's black to move, and we want to sever the white stones from escaping to the outside. So don't get confused. Make sure to try to read out all the variations that you can, and pause the video and unpause the video. Okay, also guys, actually pause the video, because when I watch these sorts of videos, I know myself, and when they say pause the video, I'm like, okay, I pause it for like 10 seconds, and if I can't see something, like, just tell me the answer. But actually try, because working on your reading skill is unbelievably important. So pause the video and see if you can figure this out. Alright, so you guys ready? Clamp it. The clamp. So this, once again, makes the Mii here and here, right? So let's go through all the different ways, right? Let's say, once again, connecting to the outside, right? Sever. And this Atari fails, obviously, right? So can we do this Atari that would work? And not really, because white has too many scattered weak groups. The ladder doesn't work because of that stone, right? And then that captures. Because all black needs is one free move. And obviously that doesn't work. So this stone will survive, even if it gets cut at this point. And so, you know, even if white tries to do something, it doesn't work. And that ends up getting captured. So let's go through that one a little more slowly, right? So, Mii, black or white chooses to try to jump out. We take the other point that he neglected. White tries to cut. We say that's totally fine, dude. No matter which way the cut doesn't work, no matter which way white tries to defend, he's always one liberty short of this group, so we're fine. And the group gets captured. Okay, that was option number 1. Now let's try if he miais and chooses this point. And like we said, right, whenever you make a miai like this and your opponent chooses the one, you have to choose the other. We know this doesn't work, right, because we can just connect downwards. And this cut fails because not enough liberties. See? So white can't do that. Clearly white can't Atari this way. That just doesn't make any sense. Still captures the group. And there's no way for really white to make eyes or shape here at all. So as long as we fill in this other miai, that captures as well. Now the last option, white can do the Atari directly. And so like we said, this miai is still here, this choice, right? That white has to make. So we can just pull back and be like, alright, just calm down for the time being and leave. And if white tries to follow, picks the one miai, we're like, ha, pick the other one. And now we're in the exact same situation. The ladder doesn't work, right? And black ends up linking up his whole. So this is a pretty cool one. Even though it seems like there's tons of like Atari shenanigans that white can pull, white actually doesn't have anything substantial. So much more powerful than simply trying to do this, right? Like, that fails. That completely fails. And yeah, black might be able to harass this weak white group, but I think the strength black gains from... Oops. I think the strength that black gains from this attack, you know, is more than enough to offset. And honestly, once black plays this move and white tries something, you know, stupid, maybe going over here. I mean, count the liberties, right? Black still is in the lead. Black can Tanuki. He can play somewhere else. Like, he can get a free move if white doesn't realize this. So, even that's a bigger advantage. Alright, next tesuji we're going to learn is called the nose tesuji. This is a pretty cool one too. So this is really funny, because when I saw this problem, I was like, oh, white to capture black, right? Right? These whole like horrible looking group of black 3 stones. And the directions were just like, black to capture white. I'm like, say what now? Yeah, you sure? I'm not mixing up my colors, right? I know black to capture white. And they're like, yeah, it can happen. I'm like, what part of my soul do I have to trade to learn this? And they're like, none of it. Here it is. So here's the nose tesuji. Clearly, right, black has to respond to capture these 2 white stones, or it's going to be in a horrible position. And we know that if black Tanukis, we know that if black Tanukis somewhere, this makes that group dead, right? It's here, block, Atari, and capture, right? So black has to do something in that area. So it needs to have some sort of contact play. And this fails to really capture these 2 white stones. Because white can just simply extend. And, you know, then that cut's still a thing, so black would have to defend that. And then white can jump out. I mean, now this is horrible. Horrible for black. So black needs to do something a little more severe. And so the nose tesuji is actually this one. You hit it on the nose, so to speak. That's why they call it that. So this does 2 things. It reduces the liberty of this group, and stops that original point that would have killed everything. Because if white now tries to play this, that's now Atari on these blue stones. And obviously tries to do this, and now black can take, or it can connect one of the two. But now that whole group is dead. So if white tries to maybe pull some other shenanigans, can't really do that, because this block here makes an Atari, extends down, that's Atari again, then extends out, and now white can simply, apply more pressure here. It doesn't really have to worry about the cut, because after that Atari, white's okay. That doesn't work, because, right, here. And then as soon as black gets a free move somewhere, he can simply Atari this group, and then everything's fine. So you see that all these cuts really don't work out, and once black plays this nose tesuji, he can just run white to the edge of the board without the slightest care in the world. And white cannot do much to stop. Yeah, can't even do that, clearly. So that is the nose tesuji. So I'm going to give you two problems, and we'll see if you can solve them. Yeah, here we go. Okay. White to link up, white to play, and link up this stone group to this stone group. As always, pause the video, see what you can calculate, what you can do, and we'll get back. Alright, so this is the nose tesuji. We know how how it has to start. And we see that black can't do anything. It's just going to get an Atari and run to the edge of time, and now black can capture it in the net. And ta-da! Let's just show you that a little more slowly. So that was the move, and if black tries to escape this way, he can't. Tries to escape this way, he can't, and then we can just net them. Now let's say black tries to escape the other way. Right? Don't care. We just follow him, and now play the net. And 1, right? 2, and that's Atari. So we don't have to worry about any cutting shenanigans, because we'll just capture immediately. So that was a pretty cool, simple problem. Showed that even if you think you're connected, you're really not, if you know the right stuff. So that's how the nose tesuji could get white, to get white out of a troubling predicament. So now let's try one more problem with this. A little harder. Okay, this one's a little harder. In any case, the objective for black in this game is to capture the stone at J3. This guy right here. Right there. And it is black's move, and he has to capture the J3 white stone. So, pause the video and read it out. So, as a hint, the nose tesuji is not the first move. It comes later in the sequence. So, it's a little more difficult. Alright, so the first move actually is this one. What this does is force white to extend out and give it something with a nose to then hit on the nose. And so now black can play this nose tesuji, and everything looks gorgeous. White tries to escape, black hems him in. White tries to escape, black hems him in. White tries to pull some weird Atari stuff. It doesn't work. He is 1 liberty short of capturing this group, even if he goes on the outside here. This is Atari. This is Atari. And that captures. So that play won't work. He can't really do that, because once again, that Atari is just brutal, right? Still 1 liberty short. What are some other things white could try to do? Right, he can't come at it from this side. That doesn't. The same problem still happens. He's an Atari. Right, regardless of the order of the moves played, he is still an Atari. White can't really descend, because after this move, and this one, and here. White is still an Atari by 1 move, so it's pretty close. Honestly, he's 1 move away, but still only 1 move away. And if white descends down immediately, black just follows him. Same thing, exact same thing. It's just instead of Atari on this side, it's going to be just Atari straight up, because that's Atari, Atari, capture. So that is the move to link up those 2 stones. And what a move it is. What a move it is. So that was a really cool one, the nose tesuji. I got one more for you guys, so stay tuned. Alright. Alright. This one. I wish I knew this one 3 days ago, because I did the wrong thing and did not get a great position because of it. So, in this position, it's black to move, and its objective is to capture the cutting stones, namely these 2, at P and Q16. Now, the wrong thing to do in this position is to Atari directly, because after this, black is not having fun. At all. White can play here, play there. White plays there, black has to worry about this, right? So he has to fill that in. But now white has the liberty of doing this and capturing, and it's just not fun. So giving Atari from one side or the other, not the right move. But there is a right move, and it is called the Crosscut tesuji. I literally have no clue what Crosscut means. All these other names are really cool, like the slap tesuji, the clamp tesuji, the nose tesuji. Crosscut, have 0 clue what that means, but it's pretty good. In any case. So, sorry. That's the move. What this does is it holds that Atari in reserve until it becomes more useful. So white's best response here is this, to which black will crosscut. And now from this crosscut, black is essentially forcing white to make a choice. Whatever one white chooses, white will fill in, or black will fill in the other one and capture these 2 cutting stones. So let's say white gives Atari to the black stone. Black's like, alright, that's fine. You can take it, and I take these. And now I'm alive, and connected, and happy. If white decides to Atari from this way, black's like, okay, you got it, buddy. Exact same thing. Mirror image, no matter where white decides to give this Atari. And of course we know that trying to do something like this is not at all right. So white's best response was to in fact play there, but then black can crosscut, and then this Atari is much more debilitating, because, right, he can't get those 2 stones out. He has to Atari something, but then black can just take it. So that is the Crosscut tesuji. I'm sure you will see this pattern a lot in your games, like somebody jumps out like this, and now you guys know to not do that, but to do that. So here's a few problems, last 2 problems of the day. Hope you guys enjoy them. As always, pause the video and take a look-see. I believe it is white to move this time, so white to move. And it needs to link up these stones with these stones. Go. Okay, so the move here is not to give Atari, right? We know that's bad. It's very bad. The move is the Crosscut tesuji at either one of this point or this point. Now we need to think and evaluate and see if one of them works and one of them doesn't, because there's really 2 directions this can go. So we know black's best response is here, to which white crosscuts. Atari, counter Atari, and we are connected, and we've broken through to the outside. So that ends up working out. We know that black can't do that, right? So anything black does to try to connect these two stones right now will just result in capturing more of them. So, can't do that. He has to find some Atari. Again, this Atari doesn't work because that's also Atari, and once again, connected and alive. Well, maybe not alive yet. Yeah, I think we're alive. So there we go. From this side, does it change? We do it from this side? Not really. We see that this is Atari, and if black fills in, white can Atari, and just lead him down. If black goes here, white crosscuts again, and then we have the same situation. And so this crosscut deal just makes this beautiful mirror image where black will always capture the cutting stone. It's amazing. Super cool. So that was this problem. And the last problem I have for you guys today is this one. This is a cool one. Once again, this requires a move before the actual tesuji. So, if you've been paying attention to the first time I showed you this tesuji, you'll probably get it. Alright, so the answer, in fact, isn't the tesuji straight off. Because what you're gonna do now, black? Like, what? This doesn't work. Right? So black is still, you know, cut off from that stone that he's trying to stave. And he doesn't ever get connected to these two, which was the actual objective. So what you have to do is play here first. Now, when white is forced to play here, oh my god, look, we have the same exact shape that's facing a different way as we had in the first time I showed you this. So you see how common these shapes are that appear. Now it's time. Now it is time for the nose. And we see that, once again, white can't do anything but crosscut. Because as soon as black Atari is here, then that's just GG. So white embraces the crosscut, black's like, alright. And we see the exact same thing. No matter which direction white decides to Atari, black captures those two stones. So it required a setup move, but getting white into this pattern means you will get connected here, and there's no doubt about it. So that is the Crosscut tesuji, and that ends the video for this week. Super excited to make more of these. I want to try to get some actual gameplay into this channel instead of just lessons. But I've been talking around with some people on Reddit, and I want to figure out what the best way to do it is. Either to do it blitz, or do it maybe like a 9x9 game. Because like sort of the idea is like, I want to be able to make it engaging enough so that beginner players will actually want to sit through this. Because I'm sure that when you're a beginner player and you're trying to watch some 4-Dan play a 50-minute game, you've got about as much idea of what's going on as when I'm playing Trivial Pursuit. So I'm horrible at that game, by the way, so that's what I'm playing. And I want to try to get an idea for games that make it a lot more engaging for beginning players. So either blitz or 9x9, maybe for more entertainment value, just to get interest, as opposed to like learn how to play better. Because I think Go needs a little more fun on the internet. People need to have more fun playing it. Everyone's so concerned like getting better, which is definitely like what everybody wants to do. But the game is fun. Like, this is a fun thing, and we should try to make it more fun, I think, so that people are more interested in it. So I'll be thinking about what I can do for next week. Until then, keep playing, and I will see you on the grid. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.